multitasking. Please don't ask what I'm doing.
Nah, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. You know, you and I talk offline. The
Yeah,
conversations offline are probably 5 times.
it'll make us rich, but it also get us killed. So that's that one of those things.
It would. It would.
It's the I can tell you, but I also have to kill you kind of conversations.
You know, it's when you have
Instantly famous, instantly dead. Yeah,
it's when you have Chappelle money, Rogan money, that you
yeah,
can have that honest conversation and just let everyone know, like, hey, here's how I actually feel.
yeah.
I
Exactly,
thought I would let you know this,
exactly.
you know. But a lot of good things going on. It's New Year's Eve.
Yes, it is. New Year's
I'm so
Eve.
happy, like everyone else in the world, to say, we're just shy of 27 hours away from saying goodbye from 2020.
Right.
I don't even know what to say to you on this year.
I'm glad. I'm
It,
glad. I'm glad it's a wrap. I'm one of the
yeah,
first people to be happy that it's gone and to look forward to the mystery of 2021. I guess I'm gonna call it that.
okay. You said the ministry of
The
2021?
the mystery.
Oh, the mystery. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm good with that. Hey,
Some slight mystery issue.
let me do some housekeeping stuff. Want to let you guys know we're being brought to you by our good friends at Haps. Haps offers free world class broadcast tools, a community eager to collaborate, and a simple way for viewers to support creators financially. You've now been on, True, you've been on Haps for, say, about 48 hours. Has it changed your life?
uh, honestly, no.
Okay.
See that?
How do we get it to
Honestly,
change your life?
how do you get to change my life? I've got some glitches going on with my machinery.
Okay.
If I could get that fixed, I'd be happy. Um, can't get two images, but I'm sure it'll work itself out by the end of next month. What is it? The Today's
New
the
Year's,
30th. So yeah,
yeah,
so
New Year's Eve
by the
Eve.
30th of next year, we should be good. But I'm assuming by the time Joe Biden shows up, everything will be fixed. All cures will be in motion, and that is it. And that includes this HAPS TV feed, and I will have no problems. You hear me, HAPS? No problem. January 20th, period. So I'm going to give it at least a couple of weeks. Was that 3 weeks?
Yeah, it's three
Give or take.
weeks.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if that's
it's
going
like 21
to.
days.
I'm not sure if that's going to be resolved in 21 days or not, because
What? What is this?
President elect is coming in and he's going to solve everything.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
He's going to
So
part the
soon as
Red Sea.
The HAPS bid team aren't on it, Joe Biden's going to come in. He's going to swivel his chair around and sit with the back like your high school professor did when he thought he was cool, and he's going to like swing his cap around. He's just going to start hacking like that Andrew Jolie movie from the 80s.
What are you talking about?
So
War
yeah,
games? You talking
no,
about
no, no.
war
The
games?
Angela, no, it was the Angelina Jolie. I think it was called Hackers. Where
Oh,
a
okay.
whole bunch of kids tried to like hack. Oh God, who was it? He used to be married to Sigourney Weaver. Eric. Oh my God, I forgot his last name, but he played Eric the Red. Oh my God, he was in Bull Durham opposite Kevin Costner. This is me. I can remember like the third and fourth lead and stuff, but like I can't remember the third and fourth. Anyway, forget. Um, it's gonna come to me while we're talking. Uh,
Big shout out to Peter, who is probably like one of the greatest people that I've met in the last couple of weeks. Pete, it's happy to be. We're happy to be on the platform. Um, Thanks for being that community head of community. Really do appreciate you because you get to answer all of our whiny questions about technology and doing this and doing that. So big shout out to you. Um, so I guess I was going to ask you, True, about a couple of things.
Hmm.
Um, One was 24 hours ago, we were talking about $2,000 checks, but $600 checks arrive directly into X amount of people's accounts today.
Yeah, that's the
So
con.
how do
First of all,
people?
it was Tim Robbins. I don't know why I said Eric. I think I was thinking Eric the Red, but Tim Robbins it was in Bull Durham. But yeah, $600. All your problems are over now. Stop complaining. Get back to work in the mines, and I'll go back to one of my 14 giant houses. Yeah,
It's just, you know what? It's really, really, really a
it's pathetic.
painful
It's
time.
ridiculous.
It's a
It's
painful time. I wish I had that image. I'm gonna look for that image that I had shared with you maybe about a month ago about what other countries are doing versus what the United States has done in that 9 month period since
right.
COVID. And most of these other countries have given, I don't want to say stipends, but they've given
A
um,
good amount.
a decent amount per month to help
Yeah.
their people in their country who are dealing with lockdowns and everything. um $600. So you got 1,200 9 months ago, and you got
Right.
$600 today if
Right.
you make less than 75,000. And I'm sure if you have children, you're gonna make some more, based on per child. But
Right.
dude, I got to tell you, the politicians have failed us.
But they've always failed us. I mean, why? I don't understand why people are shocked. You can look back through the history of this place, and when you need the American government, they always let you down. No matter what they write in the history books about how there was empathy and sympathy and all this stuff from the American establishment to the American consumer slash worker slash citizen, it's always the same. I mean,
But let's just say you have a family,
mhm.
two, 3 children. It comes down to, I think before I looked at it and I sent out amongst my friends and I said, okay, and then this was based on a $1,200 number based over that 9.5 month period. I said, that's like $5.35 a day. How
Right.
do you keep your family solvent if your job is no longer exists,
Yeah.
or you're in a lockdown period? I mean, let's just say you live out in LA County where things are super expensive.
Right.
How does $5.35 help you a day?
Yeah. It won't get your moving truck to get the hell out of there. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. None of their solutions work. None of their solutions, in my eyes, seem to get you through the storm. Right? They're not even trying to get you through the storm. They're trying to buy you maybe 20 minutes of the storm. You know what I mean? And if this storm rages, and it looks like it's about to rage,
It's
uh,
3,900 and counting, based on the COVID tracking
yeah,
website today. And that was at that was about 2 hours ago. It was at 3903.
3903.
It was 3903 at about 7:48 Eastern time.
Yeah.
Deaths. Deaths.
Yeah. I mean,
So today's the day we
I
touch 4,000.
yeah, but I mean, we did this when it was 1,000, right? We did this when it was 10,000 infected and 20,000. You know, people like this obsession with the death count it begins to get to the point where you're looking at the next batch of people, right? Like your own. I hate to say it, but it's almost like it's Vegas. You're like, will it be 50? When will it hit 60 or 70? Then we're going to hit 80. You know, it's remember that conversation we had about Cuomo and his daily coronavirus briefing?
Okay.
And I said way back then, I was like, how long before you get tired of like seeing this dude every day tell you miserable stories about coronavirus? And then they had to drop it back to weekly. And I'm saying the same thing. Do you really need a weekly coronavirus report from the governor? I don't think you do. I think you can watch it on TV, right? It's
I
because
disagree. I
people want to.
disagree. I
Oh, really?
disagree.
Okay.
Yeah, I got to disagree with you. But go
Okay. We
ahead. Go
got
ahead. Go
50.
ahead.
We have 50 governors all giving monthly. Sorry, all giving weekly coronavirus reports. What's different? What's
Well,
different?
they're only governors of their states.
I know, but the states that are adjacent have very similar numbers, right? They don't really get drastic until you hit the coast. So, but as you connect the states, the numbers are the same. They're climbing everywhere because people drive across borders. It sort of makes sense. Here, there's a ton of like New York cars, right? And we're, I want to say, 5 states away from New York.
Okay.
You know, nobody's making you stay in your state. Remember that argument about how Connecticut was going to make people from New York? People were like, you know, this is not Europe. You can't steal your state border. Yeah, I don't know. I don't, man. This the whole environment is 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 goofy. People are not staying home. They're not staying in their states, and these numbers aren't just state driven. They're sort of state adjacent driven, right? Um, and like I said, I like if you're going to tell people this every day, then you need to make it a 5 minute drop, like the weather or the traffic report, and not have like here. I haven't seen the governor give a report in a while. I think it's been like 2 weeks, which I appreciate. But you don't have something to say every week. The place doesn't. It becomes a stock market, right? Every week. So, and he gets to sit there and preen and not take any real questions about his, anything else other than Corona. You could ask him a ton of questions, really. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know.
What about
So
the new variant in the UK that's unfortunately happens to be in the United States already?
yeah,
That's why I think.
what did they say?
I
3 months back in January, February. 3 months.
but I think that's where I disagree with you because you have to still keep communicating with people. I mean, regardless of whether or not they're
Yeah,
going to listen or not, regardless whether or not
yeah,
they're
yeah,
going to
yeah.
listen, and
Yeah, but
most of them, a high percentage of them, aren't going to listen. They're
yeah,
still not going to wear masks. They're still going to cluster together. They're still going to travel. They're still going to do whatever they want to do.
right.
But you still have to communicate because then it becomes,
Yeah,
well,
but you are communicating. You've been communicating for like 10 months now, right? Why? I mean, unless you're going to get up there and read off the names of the dead, why are you out there saying the same thing essentially every week, right? It's a press conference where you get to essentially be unchallenged by saying, "Oh, it's a public briefing about about health," versus a regular briefing where I could ask you a whole host of stuff. And I don't remember him giving a briefing the last time about asking him how your governor, is running the state of New York, right? I mean, it's a ploy. It's a way to get into someone's administration. It's not really any way that he's helping anybody do anything other than that. These
Well,
I mean, tell me the news that's come out of any of these uh press conferences in the last month. What's the
well, I mean,
news?
the
Other than every
news.
day there's more infected. What's the news?
Last night he stated in his briefing last night, he stated, following the CDC guideline,
So wait
pushing
a
it
minute.
from
We all follow the CDC guidelines, but okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
following. You're not letting me finish.
I'm sorry. You're right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You're right. I
um,
apologize.
fo- following. No, you don't have to apologize. I'm just going to give you a hard way. Following the CDC guideline, it's we're going from, if you are infected, you go from 14 days to 10 days under quarantine.
Right.
That was yesterday's news. One, two, three.
Yeah, well, that was news last week
Well, that was the I guess
when they cut
the
it from
only
14 days to 7. I was like, 7 days. Yeah,
yeah, that's a little iffy.
yeah.
That's a little
That was
iffy.
news last week. But even then, that's one news story of one day, and he's doing this every day. For
I
the
don't think
last.
he still does it. I don't think he still does
All
it
right,
every day.
as long as
Well, I mean, I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
right,
I remember when it was must see TV,
right,
and
right,
people here. I'll speak solely in New York because that's where I am.
right.
When he mentioned what he mentioned about right sizing and certain number capacity, people, I mean, they lost their lunch when it said no more than 10 people,
Yeah.
and people lost their minds. And but the other part to this is, if he goes and doesn't say anything,
No,
and
but
people cluster
right,
and the infection rate explodes higher than it is now,
right.
then you've got a problem. And they say, well, the problem is him. He's our leader. He's the governor.
Yeah, but here's the thing with that. You've been telling people for a while now not to cluster. People have been clustering. You've been telling people for a while now uh, what they should and shouldn't be doing, and people have been giving you blowback for it for a while now, right? I don't know what to tell you. I mean, in a free society, these rights are inalienable, right? Which means you can't take them away. Um, And even though they're not written in the Constitution that you have the right to go outside and sit in the sun, those are some of the things that people take for granted. And you went from 3 months to 3 months to 3 months to 3 months to three right February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. Yeah, okay. So about January. So yeah, every 3 months essentially you were like, oh, if we'll get through this. First it was we'll get through the spring, summer would be great. Then we'll get through the summer, spring will be great. Then it was like, oh well, we got to get through the winter session because it could come back, but if everybody wears gloves and all this kind of like now you can't go home and visit your family. 2 months ago it was you can't go to church and worship the way you want. All these things that look, I said on your show before, I was like, look, listen, you can't mandate people wear a mask, but you should have conditioned the country to be for each other so that when you go, yo, we all are in this together and we all need to wear a mask. Everybody's like, where can I get a mask yesterday? Instead, you told everybody no one can tell you what to do. Everybody's your enemy who's your fellow American. And now you got people for the last 2 months, for the last 4 or 5 months, shooting people who asked them to put on masks and all this wild and stupid behavior, right? And now you have
Wait,
people breaking in their homes where there's more violence, more ridiculousness. People don't like their kids because their kids aren't in school. The whole, I think this exposes a lot of the problems with America, quite frankly. This whole, we're not
gotta
vaccinated.
gotta
Go
got a
ahead.
comment on the screen. I want to say thanks to Dada Rocks for the Stay Safe Award. And he comments, Cuomo has an impossible task. People will socialize as they do it in their homes, and the rates will keep
Well, your home
going
is
up.
not a problem.
but he does keep dining closed without any relief for restaurants or for landlords who have tenants not paying rent. I'm worried about the foreclosures that'll be coming this summer of 2021.
Summer. You're
So
you're
I think it's gonna come. I
so
think it's gonna
you're
come
kind.
even
If you
before it.
wait till summer, you're kind, right?
Well,
This is gonna be
to,
this is gonna be on people by spring.
but to be truthful, the evictions in New York State, are through May 31st.
Right.
Okay, now what these other states are doing,
So by
that
June 1st, yeah, right before it's gonna be before summer, by June 1st, because I anticipate by the time they get these kids out of school, because the first thing what happens when you drag people into court, they go, it's disruptive to the children. And a lot of judges will be like, all right, well, we're gonna give you 2 more months till school is over and fix it. So by the time school ends, which is late May, early June, mid June, at the latest, late June, I think there's just going to be a bloodbath on the streets. And he's right. I'm worried about it too. But I think it's going to
but
be.
but that's New York State. What are the other states doing to
That's going to be the
ensure?
same all over the country. Once
But
schools
it but it
break, it's
but
going
it
to be.
hasn't been.
Right.
They don't have anything
No,
in
but
place.
but wait, the moratorium just ended like 3 days ago. Government
Right.
does not work that fast. I mean, by the time and they were waiting to see if Trump signed this thing or not, which he did. But I mean, well, I don't know, man. We'll see.
I,
I don't have a lot of faith in their solution to the problem. Let's just say
okay.
that.
That's valid. I will. If you want to talk about, we were talking about a little bit offline about the PS5 and the restocks,
Yeah.
dude. And I wish I had Danny Thompson who could join tonight to talk about this topic, because he talks about it intimately, being one of the people out there hunting down gaming consoles.
Right.
I mean, it's beyond a headache. And I don't know if you want to blame this botch rollout. And we're talking gaming consoles. We're not talking about
But was it
vaccines.
was it a botched rollout? I mean, there's always a shortage of Christmas games. It just seems like the standard shortage of Christmas games, even in COVID, right? Before there was COVID, there was a Beanie Baby rush, and you couldn't find them anywhere for your 2 and
This
3 and 5 year old. And this seems like the same thing, just with COVID.
this is
Um,
not. I don't think this is at the level of like Cabbage Patch Kids or the American
oh,
Girl
this is
doll.
way over. This is, I mean, you're trying to buy like modern tech that'll play your music and your movies as well as play video games for you. Uh, yeah, I mean, I think it's the toy's a little more shiny and chromy as Uh, anyway, but it's the same thing. It's the same kind of like got to call 1,000 people and go to 1,000 locations and you know tell your kid, don't worry, baby, you're gonna have it by Christmas. Whether that's the Easy Bake Oven or the
I got
Samsung
another
astronaut doll,
got another comment. He said
yeah,
he landed a PS5 for his son from BJ's. It was all to build the hype. I think it was also for Dada Rocks. He was behind that BJ's paywall. That if you are not a member of BJ's,
right, yeah,
you
exactly,
can't get into the party.
exactly.
Where
He might have wanted to buy 3 or 4 of those and sell 2 of them on. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Because I mean, maybe I should be in BJ's instead of Sam's Club. Because Sam's Club's just had none of the goodness. Um,
um, I've been following a couple of Twitter accounts.
yeah.
A couple of the Twitter accounts, like 4 or 5, are like the PS Restock or PS Drop Twitter accounts. And I mean, I don't want to say that stuff is a hoax,
Hmm.
but they tell you, okay, there's about to be a drop, right? And then they're telling you good luck.
Good luck with the
Um,
drop.
and by the way, if you want to donate to my cause, You can cash
This
at
whole
me, or
thing
you can.
seems like what's that movie? What's that movie? The Purge. It
Okay.
seems like The Purge in a way, where Cats is just like going through a lot of hoops to get this game, like not game, to get this console, and there aren't that many games for it yet. All I know is I have an old Xbox back there that's about to be a brick because you have to really buy the new
Well, the
new
games
disc.
will work.
Well, the
You
games will
know.
come, but here's the problem. I
Okay.
mean, the game world, and I'm a big gamer. The game world is done too, right? So, 2 months, maybe 4 months ago, they had a crunch scandal, right, about making people work longer to get the games out, and now there's COVID. So, can you really work from home? You've disrupted all these games and how they flow. So, even if they are coming out, they won't be coming out when you want them to, when you expect them to. I bought Cyberpunk
77.
2077.
Yeah.
I have yet to play it. Um, but it was delayed 3 times, right?
It was delayed,
Delayed
and and
three.
and and are you sitting yours back? Because I
No, no, no,
heard.
no, 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 no. I collect games on my Steam account like I used to collect books. So I
Okay.
collect games that I haven't played yet. I collect games that I figure one day I'll play with my niece and my nephew. My niece is like 10 and my nephew is like 13. So like, oh, they might like these and try to get them into PC gaming versus Xbox gaming. But it's just kind of like because they're like $5 here or $20 there. So but then I just never play them. you know. So
I think it's funny. I'll admit, yesterday I finally secured a PS5 for my son,
nice.
but it was like jumping through hoops. So my goal was a PS5 and an Xbox for him, right?
Yeah.
Um, it's so funny because some of the stores, hey, if you're willing to drive to I don't know, Connecticut,
Right. Ronkonkoma.
your unit is here waiting for you, because a lot of times with some of the stores that had shipments, because I guess the supply chain was so screwy, and
Right.
we know what we had to go through with shipping. They weren't offering shipping. You would have to come to the store to pick it up. So what I really want to drive to the Gateway Mall in Brooklyn,
Right.
right off the Belt Parkway, to go stop over there to go pick up the game. I mean, I guess yes, if I really wanted it,
Right.
but for me personally, I was like, nah, no thanks, I'm good. And he can wait.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
just,
It's
I
not
just,
penicillin. It's a video game console. Right. And that's what they want you to be desperate. And I have to. What's that? Jingle all the way. Right. They want you
I,
and they want you, Schwarzenegger, and what's his name? I forgot his name. Hartman, to duke it out over, like, I forgot the name of that toy. But yeah, it's the same energy.
so big question is, I know it's COVID, but what are you doing for Christmas Eve? I mean,
Christmas
excuse
Eve.
me, New Year's Eve.
I am
New Year's
doing
Eve.
Jack Bone Diddley.
Is there like a ball or whatever where you can
No,
go to celebrate in
nah,
Virginia?
nah. This is nah. What will likely happen, since no one can go anywhere anyway, is I guess there'll be smatterings of gatherings at the beach,
Okay,
uh, and I don't
10
think
people
people
or
will
less.
be fireworks.
10,
Exactly.
10, 10, 10 people
Yeah,
or less.
I'll have a romantic walk on the beach by myself. Me and my schizophrenia. So yeah,
Oh my goodness.
yeah. It'll be us three walking on the beach,
Any
bringing
any
in the new
new
year.
any New Year resolutions?
Yeah, I think I need to slow down on the drinking and actually take a seriously hard run at some of these dreams that my creative body was supposed to have done a while ago. But since I'm still creative, we're still going to do it. Maybe get one of these marathons under my belt finally. Start running well, I wonder if I could still run 3 miles. I used to run 3 miles a day, every day. Now I'm like, if I could get across the street before the light turns green, I'm winning. So yeah, maybe I'll do something like that. I'm trying to get some of my swag back, and the swag the way I see it, not the way the world thinks my swag is. So I'm gonna paint
Okay.
more. I want to drink less. I want to do more cooking. I want to talk more with interesting people and try and figure out the secrets of the universe with like-minded people. Because even though you don't figure out, it's always fun to talk to people about like-minded people about these things without it coming to arguing. I'm beyond arguing now. I'm like, tell me something from an angle that I didn't think of, so I can be like, dude, wow, you are, or miss, wow, you get it, whatever. Just tell me something that shows that you are an actual thinker in this realm, because I think a lot of people just do exactly as they're told, and it's beyond tired now. So yeah, that's my New Year's resolution: more cooking, more exercising, less drinking, uh, trying to. I hate to say sound corny about it, but try and be kind to people. But I am kind to people. But I want to try and be more mean to people, because some people need to be told to shut up and get out of your way. So it's not always like sunshine and lollipops. Sometimes it's ass whippings and beat downs. So,
Oh
but
my
yeah,
God.
all this kind of, no, but not physical, but just kind of like the mindset of kind of like changing
Mental.
how
Mental.
your head game is, right. Stop being so kind to people in a cruel world, right? Be kind and seek allies, but at the same time, everybody wants to get along, but the people who don't want to get along with you, you know, push them to the side and let them serve way. But if they refuse to stay on the side and they continue to engage with you, then you should be able to bark back at them. And that is the point. Too many people are just kind of like, I will make this friendship work, or they remove themselves from the thing. And it's like, in this way, you stand your ground of, well, I stood up for myself and I feel better about it, even though I may not be able to go back to that library again because I yelled at the librarian. But dag nabbit, I was right. So all this kind of energy. Too many people are, what's that, the old phrase? Living lives of quiet desperation. Don't do that. Lives of quiet desperation will just get you a clogged artery and like a stroke. It's good to let it go, just to like chirp at people who chirp at you. It's not always like physical conflict, which is why I think a lot of people don't. Because they're taught, oh, everybody's crazy and don't talk to anybody, then they go home and fume. Just kind of let it all go. Paint more, you know, chill more. Don't finish off a bottle of wine a day. Have a glass a day, and then paint or sing your song that you love to do. I still uh, throwing old
Would,
songs my parents grew up to, and like doo wop and that 60s. Just because it was on when I grew up clean, and it reminded me of like my family. So all these kind of things that put you in a good headspace is essentially what I'm trying to say. You should try and seek out in the new year, if that's music or cooking or someone who makes you feel good about yourself, and someone who that kind of thing. But man, they're trying to make you happy at being miserable and blaming the world, and that's if you buy into that, shame on you.
would,
Because it's how they control you. So once
would
you
you
give that control of you, you're good.
would you like to sing a song
Don't
before we
even get
close out?
kumbaya, my lord. Yeah, I got you. I got your kumbaya right here, brother. Yeah, nah, exactly. That kumbaya. Look, man, you live in an environment where for the last 30 years we've been at nothing but war. Maybe deep down in your head, and nothing but violence on TV, right? Cop shows and war shows, and like some of these police shows every week there's a terrorist bombing. I'm like, what town do you live in where this is your local police setting every week, right? So some of it you just might want to just get away from, is all I'm saying. Nobody's saying join a nunnery and give up the club life. All I'm saying is, you might want to get into the habit of flushing some of that out of your system. And you can do that in a lot of ways. You can do it with art, you can do it with a joint, you can do it with good music. Um, Although the lyrics get in your head, so if it's all guns and violence and stuff, I wonder if you're doing anything. But like just as much of that, listen to if you secretly like love songs and you a thug from the hood, but you secretly like what's that guy? John Denver. Put on your headphones, go sit in the park, listen to John Denver. Just come down off of the stress of it all because they really want you to be stressed out and unhappy in this little I guess I don't want to say pen, but kind of like system that they have here. You have to find a way to clear your own head. Yeah, and I don't know how everyone else does it, but the way I've done it, which was always been successful to me, is some artsy stuff, some physical exercise stuff, a lot of, you know, libations, a good movie or two, some good conversation, and then just keep it moving. You
So
know?
most of these TV shows nowadays are, I'll say, I don't know, 90% are fictional.
Yeah.
So, what do you tell me? What are you binging right now?
Well, I just found The Expanse on Amazon.
Hmm.
So I'm through the first season of that, and people are talking about they're about to cancel it, and I'm like, oh, really? So I'm into
But there's
that.
been like 5 seasons. There's been like
Yeah,
four. No,
this
there's
is
been like
like
4 seasons.
season number 6, I think. I think they
Okay.
just ended the 5th season, so this is like coming up on season number 6. But
Okay.
I'm a notorious contrarian in some ways. Um, I, I love to read, but for a while that everything people were telling me to read was on the New York Times bestsellers list, and then I realized that everyone that I knew in the old neighborhood of Brooklyn were all essentially just reading the same trash. Um, so I mean, and watching the same stuff. So 5 years later, I'm finally on The Expanse. Still haven't seen The Boys or any of this, like a lot of the other things, but you know,
Boys were great. The boys were great. Both
okay.
seasons. Second season was much better than the first season.
The second season of The Boys.
Yeah.
Maybe
But
I
the
don't know.
first season was really good.
I get it right. I like quirky shows. Like there used to be a show called Pushing Daisies on ABC that I loved. There was a show called there was Picket Fences. Like all these weird shows that no one. I really liked My Name Is Earl, about that hillbilly kind of like guy from New Mexico. I
Okay.
like the Drew Carey shows that I should not normally like. Uh, it's just it's I don't know, man. It's those shows kind of. I'll watch those shows before I watch any of the Tyler Perry stuff, which is I just think at this point is just licensed coonery. I think it's ridiculous. There's this show called Man and Wife. You know this show?
Mm-mm.
If you like it, go watch it. Look, again, it's a pandemic. If you, if I'll share with your audience. My dirty secret. Well, it's not anymore. It used to be. My dirty secret was I used to love romantic comedy, right? Because there was no gun chases, no car chases, no gun, no shit. It was just stupid nonsense, and I knew it was going to end up in a happy ending, right? So that was sort of like my urban dude escape. I'd go watch them by myself. I've seen them all. Um, uh, but I didn't put any stock in it. Like then go home and read romance novels and fall into this world, right? Um, it's it's a pandemic, man. It's the last day. Uh, if you got out of this year, and this was quite a year, you know, show yourself some love. Acknowledge the things you like. This isn't like the 1920s where you a macho guy can't read a romance novel if you want, or you are a quiet and demure lady can't, fix your V8 twin engine big block whatever that you know what I mean. So just whatever it is that gets that energy that clogs your artery and makes you angry and give you that road rage energy. All that stuff can be dissuade, and all the people that you live with who make you crazy, you can view them in a different way just because, you convince yourself that, you are like people who don't like their family make me crazy. First of all, how do you not like your children? You're raising them. If you have people in your house that you don't like, shame on you. You did something wrong. It's not. I never blame the children. I don't care if that kid is 70 and he does something to you and you're 105. You're right. I'm like, how you hating old lady? Oh wait, what? That's it. He's your son. Okay, yeah. What did you do to him that this has been simmering this long, right? So I mean, as bad as that sounds, there's a simplicity in it that you are your children's first teachers, first example of everything. How can you be? I get children are stressful, but how can you hate on them like some of this stuff down here? My parents' anniversary was yesterday, December 29th, 60
Mhm.
years, right? The line of marriage.
Congratulations.
They set a fantastic example for the rest of my brothers and sisters. So I am pro marriage. I am pro family. I'm pro these little kids. I'm pro your struggle to get your family to the next level.
Hmm.
The only way I'm not for your family is you seek to destroy the family next to you. Does that make sense? Right. So
Okay.
that's my head game, because one dude can destroy a whole bunch of families, right? But if I'm trying to get there and I get to level rung number 9 and you get to 10, the fair play. The guy behind me may only get to to level 8, fair play. But all this rigged system, Lori Laughlin, con artist, BS. McConnell won't even give you $2,000, and Kelly Lawson's out here insider trading, allegedly. Got to knock on something. I mean, the place is broken. The place is goofy. So we'll see what we have in the new year. Because
Final question I have for you. It's you would be affected if you were still living in New York,
yeah,
but you are not.
right.
Um, Andrew Yang filed the paperwork to run for mayor.
Uh-huh. What has Andrew Yang done for anybody? I mean, I know he's famous and people
He's run
like
for
him.
president.
And
And
well,
he
yeah,
wants to.
yeah. That
And he
wasn't for
wants
me.
to.
That was for him. Him running for president was for anybody else but Andrew Yang.
He ran for president, and he's talked about
There's
UBI.
people in New York who's done more for New York than Andrew Yang has, right? Having said that, a lot of those jokers have been around for 20 years, excuse me, in local politics doing bone diddly. You know what I'm saying? Bone diddly. So yeah, maybe he is. I don't know if he's a shock to the system that they need. I mean, he's a dark horse, right? He's the new figure in, but Stringer shouldn't be. He's just a Democratic functionary, just another empty suit, you know. But he wants to do good. He wants to do like Letitia James. She was the last empty suit who did good, and now she's a controller, right? Um,
Attorney General.
is she attorney general? Right. Well, Stringer's
Attorney
a
General.
controller. She was a controller. What is Scott Stringer now? He went from the
I
borough
think he's
president of Manhattan to
the public
controller,
advocate. Public
public
advocate.
advocate,
Yeah.
public advocate. You know what the job of the public advocate is?
It's
Yeah,
right behind the mayor.
exactly.
It's right behind the mayor.
Yeah, it's one of these weird positions where it's sort of like the opposite of a district attorney, where you have an office, and instead of charging people for crimes, uh, the public advocate is a weird gig, right? It's a
I
very
think
weird gig.
it's no,
It's
because
at a citywide level, but
if you look, it's De Blasio was that position.
yeah,
It's a springboard position to
yeah.
whatever you want
It's
to
to
do
get
in
into.
local
I think
politics.
it's to get in the New York City government without actually having any New York City government experience. Because De Blasio, before he became controller, was what? He was a Democratic aide to, I want to say, Dinkins, right? Before Scott Stringer became controller, before he became public advocate, he was what? He was some functionary. Um,
Yeah, wasn't he like the president of one of
when I
the
was messing with running for
boroughs?
office in New York and angry and talking to all these people and all my lawyer friends, they were like, "I'm like, I should run for mayor because you like hop over, so you're not part of the machine." Exactly what Donald Trump did. They're like, "Nah, you got to start something. No one's going to trust you." But you know what you should start? And they always will mention controller, and I was like, "Not controller." They always will mention public advocate, and this is a
Yeah,
job where you're the highest person for the voice of the people. But I don't really know what the power is there. I really don't. But there's
dude.
a sufficient amount of power there. I mean, you can look into stuff and have people arrested. I just don't know what they do there. It's a very weird gig. It
Google,
yeah. I used to know. I googled it a million years ago. I've long ago forgotten what it was.
Google.
I've given up all hopes of being a political anything. Although I still harbor dreams of running and doing well enough in the debates where they keep me around just so I could like verbally punch people in the face on stage. So you're running not so much to win, just to dethrone all these people who shouldn't be in the race in the first place.
Oh my
Like
goodness.
in hockey, what do they call those guys? When they hire judges,
Enforcers,
yeah, thank you. Right, yeah,
enforcers.
exactly. But not for anybody in particular, just kind of like have enough knowledge of the game and enough goodwill with the people that they go, yeah, we're gonna keep him around because we like what he asked X, Y, or Z at this moment. You know what I mean? But yeah, someone else is going to have to do it because someone needs to do it. Because we'll see what we get with all this McConnell stuff. 600
We
armed
shall
police.
we shall see. We shall see. Hey, so now's your time to promote your social handles, where people can find you, all the above.
Oh, all right. Well, I have been off social media since about March, um, but I expect to come back about January, uh, about Inauguration Day. Truist Armor on most platforms. I won't be back to Facebook. I think I'm done with Facebook. Um, so yeah, maybe I don't have any social handles. Twitter, Truist Armor, YouTube, Truist Armor, and
Haps TV, True Armor.
TV, True Armor. Yeah, come get some.
I don't want to put you on the spot, but I will put you on the spot by asking you, when is the cooking show debuting on Haps TV?
That's funny. I just made pot roast. Mwah.
You should have the camera
Actually, I
going.
will do it because I'm like, well, what meal do I make? But you know what I normally do? I'll probably do what I normally do. Just cook a thing like that pot roast. Then make pot roast sandwiches for the week, or maybe just cook mashed potatoes and just leave that episode at mashed potatoes. So yeah, I'm gonna be back at it. Like I said, within the next 2 weeks, as soon as I get out of this year, knock on wood. If I survive it, it's still 31 hours. No, what about? It's 9, so that's 20. Yes, 31 hours to go. Woo.
Mm, about
Yeah,
26.
yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. You're right.
Yep.
Maybe if I
26
clap my hands.
hours, 13 minutes, and
Oh,
5 seconds.
there you
Dude,
go.
it's Late Night Parents. Want to thank you guys once again. Ways to follow the show at latenightparents.com. You
I
can
gotta
get the
get the
latest.
.com.
You can get the latest podcasts, blogs, YouTube channels up there. The aforementioned dreaded Facebook feed is up there. And that's about it. True, I want to thank you for joining.
Thank you
And
for
we'll
having me.
holler later.
Absolutely.